fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this is likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up the Bills! It's not a house game! It's not a house game!
Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Homie, now listen. Everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping. They better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping. We on a mission. Got an unstoppable team. Continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond 716, here as always with Little 2K. And today we're going to get into, we got a pack-filled show. You may think, it's the off-season. What's there to talk about? It's never an off-season anymore, especially here on the Coast to Coast podcast. So we'll go into the Super Bowl. We'll talk Myles Garrett. We'll talk James Cook, $15 million, and some other surprises coming up later on as we go through. I know one of Whittle's favorite times of the year, the mock draft season. So Whittle, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't know if we spoke about Dick Jauron passing, but I wanted to make reference to that former coach for the Buffalo Bills. He went on and he passed away recently. I think it was like last week, I believe.
I think it was last Saturday. Yeah, because it actually happened when I was on the Sabres podcast last Saturday with Matt. So it was right at that time. Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure that we made mention of that before we get into some of the off-season talk. Let's go right into the Super Bowl. Was it as good for you as it was for me?
It was. I can definitely tell you I'm going to take a victory lap on the Eagles. I've been on them for a while, starting a couple months ago in our spaces. I mean, you just saw the way that defense was formulating on that side of the ball. And, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, all their fans, the team. I mean, just a dominating performance. And, Whittle, and it really goes to, NFL's a copycat league, right? I mean, and we'll tie this into the Bills. But there's one thing that stands the test of time. If you could rush 4 and not blitz the way the Eagles did, it's just a numbers game, right? When you could get that kind of pressure and you have that kind of front four that the Eagles boast,
right?
Man, it just makes the job so much easier for everybody on that defense. And credit GM, what's his name? Howie Roseman. He's just incredible. I mean, he's like Brandon Beane in the NFC, even better. He's an amazing GM. And it's an organization that we could take pieces of a model into what we're trying to do. But yeah, I mean, were you surprised? I was stunned at the result. I wasn't stunned the Eagles won. I was stunned that they won in such convincing fashion.
Yeah, I actually volunteered to go to work during the Super Bowl. So while I was at work, Driving through, I saw some other guys with their phones out there watching the game. So I say, hey, what's the score? And the guy told me, he's like, oh, it's 14-0. Mahomes just threw a pick six. I was like, oh wow. And a little, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, whatever it was, I'm like, yeah, what's the score? So yeah, it's 24-0. I said, what? 24-0. 24-0 was crazy.
You know what? I didn't watch the first half mostly. Once I saw that call against AJ Brown, I said, "Oh, here we go again."
Here we go again. Yeah.
I turned it right off. But then one of my best friends, diehard Eagle fan, he's messaging me. He goes, "I gotta watch this. This is like he's going crazy, right?" I saw 24. I said, "You know what? Yeah, it's time for me to start watching this game." So got the halftime show in, watched the third quarter, fourth quarter. It was. I mean, does it really give? It doesn't give me a ton of joy about the Bills, though, to be honest, because
why not?
I don't know. I mean, because I still would rather be there. I mean, we're still losing to the Chiefs. You know what I'm trying to say? They still. I just know listen. I'm not really sure if we beat the Eagles either. Full transparency, but we know the NFL's a matchup league. I think we would have had a little bit of. I don't think we lose like that.
No way. Our offensive line is a lot better than theirs. I just don't believe. I just don't believe that it would have been that. And then Josh is super elusive, so he's gonna. Josh is gonna get out and go. I think we do a better job of covering outside the hash marks down the field. Christian Benford, provided he would have been able to go.
That's true.
Between Benford and Douglas and the safeties, hopefully, Rapp would have been able to go as well. I think we would have done a better job. I don't know that we win, but I know for sure it's not. What was the final score for the game?
40-22.
Oh,
and it was 40.
God.
It was 40-7 at one point.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then they scored some garbage time.
Guru's favorite ex-Steeler quarterback, Kenny Pickett, made an appearance in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, but you know what the other thing that I take away from the Eagles, and we're going to tie this into our show. Remember they got Bryce Huff, paid him a lot of money, didn't do anything for the Eagles, right? Jalen Carter draft pick, right? Jordan Davis draft pick, right? Cooper DeJean draft pick. All these guys are draft picks. They've done so much work through the draft, and you look at the draft board we have this year, and who's available. We can also go that direction very easily with the draft board we have and the picks we're going to have at our disposal. So and we'll tie that into one of our first topics, which is the big splash of the offseason. So I guess what I'm saying is, I think Brandon Beane's got to have a price point, but not go crazy exceeding it because there's a lot of options in the draft.
Yeah, I think the Bills though. I think the Bills are doing something pretty transparent this offseason that I wanted to get into.
Mm-hmm.
They're letting you know exactly where things are going to go, what the direction they're headed in. Matthew Smiley, no longer a special teams coach. They bring in Chris Tabor, special teams coach. I mean, the reviews are mixed, but one thing that we do know is that Smiley's reviews weren't, Smiley's grades weren't mixed. They were just bad the last 2 years. So he had to go. Special teams can't be at the bottom of the league in special teams and expect to win. But the Bills, they made some coaching hires that I think bode well for what they're expecting to do this year. So they made Patriots defensive coach. They brought in a former Patriots defensive coach to Mike Pellegrino. He was a defensive back coach for the Patriots for the last like 10 years. And in the last 6, he was the corners coach. And one thing we know about the corners over the last 6 years for the Patriots, they have been pretty good. You know, Stephon Gilmore was there for a number of years. Jack Jones, John Jones, Christian Gonzalez is there now. They just seem to always get a lot out of the DBs that they end up getting. You know, we drafted Alex Austin, and I think we took him in the 6th or 7th round. Weren't able to keep him on the roster, and you know, he ends up finding his way to the Patriots. Now he's playing nickel. He's playing safety, some safety. You know, they're getting a ton of production out of him. And here we are going back to the draft, looking to solidify that cornerback to position. So I think the Bills have done exactly what they need to do. You know, they go out and we're going to get a guy that's going to help out. He's going to help maximize what we got in Christian Benford, and at the same time, he's going to help us get our hands on some of these young guys and get the most out of them. They got the Corey Couch, you know, they love him. Daquan Hardy, who we drafted last year out of Penn State, and then I'm sure they'll be looking to add corners in the draft. And who knows? Maybe this hire is a last-ditch effort to get something out of Kaiir Elam. We don't know. We have to see. But you know, that's one of the coaching hires that they had. And then there was one more. I'm trying to find it.
Bills made another hire, right? I believe you're right. I'm trying to recall.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Defensive line.
Because they definitely snuck some hires under the radar. I mean, Super Bowl Sunday morning is when they decided to relieve Matthew Smiley of his role. Did not have that on my bingo card Sunday morning to see that.
Right.
So I'm not surprised. Obviously, we're not surprised he's gone, but just the timing was interesting. So I was like, wow, Sunday morning.
Yep. The Buffalo Bills also signed Ryan Nielsen, formerly of the Saints, Falcons, and Jags, to be a senior defensive assistant. He does a great job. He allegedly does a great job with the defensive line. I'm not even going to say allegedly because, you know, the proof is there. I spoke with a Saints fan and, you know, about this hire, and he was like, I'm not going to lie, man. Like when he had some talent at D-line, the D-line was cooking. So that's another addition that I think is really solid. And this one totally went under the radar. Jason Rebrovich as an assistant O-line coach. So I think that's because didn't we lose our assistant O-line coach? I believe our assistant O-line coach got hired as an O-line coach somewhere else. So that was a hole that needed to be filled. I'm pretty sure
I believe you are correct. I'm going to try to verify that, but I remember seeing something on that.
Yep. So what else we got, man?
Yeah, so a lot of little movements within the coaching, you know, the coaching staff, and the kind of moves that don't get national publicity but these are very, very important moves. I mean, who knows? Maybe this guy is a guy that will be groomed after Cromer leaves or something along those lines. I mean, we'll have to see how that all works out.
Right. And that's you know, that's what you want to happen, right? You want that tells you when teams are poaching your guys, when they're poaching your talent, when they're poaching, you know, all of these other guys. This is exactly what you want to happen. You want to see these guys get snatched up. You want to see them move on and progress their careers. So you never know. Like down the line, you know, this is a relationships business as well. We may
Oh, yeah.
need to, you know, there may be a player that can't make their roster or something, and they say, hey, look, you know, this guy he's pretty good, or you know, stay away from this guy in free agency because this, and that, or whatever it may be. You know, you just want to make sure you maintain those strong relationships. Okay, what else is on the menu for today? We talked about the Super Bowl. I
Well,
feel like we didn't get. I feel like we didn't dive really deep into the Super Bowl.
not too much,
The-
but yeah.
yeah,
So,
I just want to talk a little bit about what the Eagles are able to do. I mean, they were able to really just out talent the Kansas City Chiefs at every level.
mhm.
Obviously, you know the Phillies had an offensive line, one of the best offensive lines for years. Um, but they led the NFL in sacks like 2 years ago. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, and then
Mhm.
you know last year they kind of fell off, lost some coordinators, yada yada yada. But here we are, a year, you know, another year, a new coordinator, and you know Vic Fangio's there now, and immediately this defensive line with these young guys that they drafted. I mean, you have Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, like all of these guys. You know, they just picked up and they played really well. Nolan Smith, like these guys that they drafted, have come in and played key roles for them. And I hope, and then when you look at the back end, right?
Mhm.
Look at the back end. You got Cooper DeJean, who's a second round pick, and you have oh, something happened. Okay, no, never mind. All right, that was just that website. Okay, so you have Cooper DeJean.
You also have Quinyon Mitchell
Yeah,
back
Quinyon
there.
Mitchell. Yep,
Mhm.
Quinyon Mitchell, and you know what? I mean, Slay's been there for a while, and you know they brought back C.J. Gardner Johnson. Um, they drafted a kid out of Illinois, Sidney Brown, but he's injured. So I mean
Mhm.
they've just N'Kobe Dean's a starting linebacker, but he's been hurt too. I mean they just have a ton of their draft picks to step in and play quality snaps for them on both sides of the football. That's something the Bills need to be able to do. Um, and until you know, and until the Bills can get, I don't even want to say get lucky, but they just have to draft better talent early on in the draft, and you know that talent has to develop and it has to play well, and that's that. So however long that takes, that's going to be what it is. Um,
Mhm. I mean, the Zach Bond story is amazing. What, first
but they
team
got
All
yeah, that
Pro?
was luck.
I mean,
They got lucky,
unrestricted.
man.
He wasn't even drafted, right? Not a draft. They signed him as an unrestricted free agent. Comes in, he makes first team All Pro. I mean, that's a great story. I mean, that just speaks to, again, like we spoke about, the ferociousness of the front four of the Eagles and what Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis can do in that middle. It sets up a lot. And again, I'm not taking anything away from those guys, but it just makes and just a great picks of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean is it's just I mean just masterclass by Howie Roseman at really all levels.
Yeah, and I don't know how he keeps getting this done.
Mm-hmm. And he just sits there. Usually he sits there or trades down and he just finds
It's
his
crazy.
guys. I mean, how did Jalen Carter fall in their lap, right? I mean, how did this guy get past so many teams at the top?
Well, you know, I mean,
Well,
we don't want to talk about that, but you know,
I
there was
understand.
some off the field. There was some off the field things, but
Yeah, still a risk, but still, I mean, just this talent was undeniable. I mean,
ultimately to tie this together with the Buffalo Bills, you saw what uh, talent in that front four or that defensive line can do uh, versus what you know our front four was unable to do during the entire game of the AFC Championship. You know, on
mhm.
third down. the Chiefs. I mean, on third down, the Eagles got the Chiefs off the field. If they weren't turning Mahomes over, we couldn't get off the field. We were consistently giving up first downs to them. We couldn't get them. We couldn't, get extra possessions through punts and things like that. So, hats off to the Eagles. They stopped the three-peat. The world will be forever grateful.
Yep. What I saw the funniest mock draft for the Bills where somebody had taken all defensive interior and all defensive linemen for the Bills.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way after that game? Because when you watch the Eagles front four, you're like, wow, imagine if we had this. But RJ had a great tweet. I'd like the biggest, meanest, sweatiest three tech, a man among men, someone who eats with their hands. I kind of feel that comment because after watching what Philly did, and again, it's going to be hard to duplicate everything that they do. I mean, we don't have Jalen Carter, so don't fall out of the sky. But it just goes to show that the emphasis has to be on the front four this offseason. We have to make it nasty. We have to make it a unit that other offensive coordinators stay up at night thinking about before they play us every single week. That this is going to be a real problem. Like this, going into every matchup, no matter who we play. It has to be the absolute strength. We can't just be about Josh Allen. I want people to think, wow, the Buffalo Bills, okay, Josh Allen's great, but that front four is nasty. Like that's a unit I don't want to mess with. And that's what Brandon Beane is tasked with. It's going to be tough. We got to do some cap gymnastics, as we know. We got to make some trades. Or really nail this draft. I mean, or all the above, really. So it's going to be a collective effort on that front.
100%. So where are we at now? The draft.
Yep.
So I've been looking into some defensive ends, some edge rushers, and I'm looking at guys that'll probably be in that late third, fourth, fifth round range, and I really got into three different guys. Two guys from LSU, Savion Jones, 6'6", 285, 290 defensive end, big guy. That obviously big guy, but slow off the snap. Good technique against the run. Definitely sets the edge well. Not really a elite level athlete. There's no quick twitch at all. He gets going one direction, he's going to keep going that direction. Doesn't have that stop and go type of athleticism. So, think Gregory Rousseau, but a lot less athletic.
Okay.
Yeah. Braden Swinson, another LSU linebacker or defensive end, he can rush. He can rush standing up. He can rush with his hand in the dirt. Very, 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 very quick off the ball. As soon as that ball snapped, he's going. Didn't see a ton of pass rush moves. I only was able to watch 3 games from him, but not a ton of pass rush moves. But he is effective. He does count. He is able to counter. One thing I saw that I didn't like was when he's using power, when he's using his bull rush, he kind of drops his head.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but that's something that I'm sure can be coached out of him. I like him. I like him as a guy that we could take, in the 4th round, etc. My favorite non-day 1, day/early day 2 pick at defensive end is the defensive end from Texas, Barron Sorrells. 6'3", I think he's about 260, 265, something like that. Excellent hands. He has power in his punch. He's quick off the football. He's quick off the snap of the football. Um, he has the ability to bend the edge and get around tackles with speed. He also does a very good job of countering back inside when when the tackle tries to take that speed angle away. This is the guy that I think can start. He can play immediately. I think he can play all three downs right now. Again, the other thing that I saw, man, twitchy athlete, twitchy. Not like he's not Von Miller at all. Like he's not Von Miller, but Matthew Judon.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's going to be as good as Matthew Judon. I just think that he's less of an he's the lesser of an athlete, but still pretty effective at getting to the quarterback, and he's smart too. Like smart guy, they drop him in coverage from time to time. Just all around, like I think he's a Billsy type of player.
Billsy type player,
yeah, Billsy type of player, man, for sure. So those are the three guys that I took a look at. I'm going to get into more of the defensive ends. I'm going to get into, I'm going to take a look at a few more guys, probably Jared Ivey. There's a kid out of UCLA. I'm going to try to, I'm not even going to try to say his name. It's African and it's a lot of syllables. It's West African and it's a lot
Starts
of
with an O, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
Yeah,
I remember watching UCLA games. And I remember that. He was excellent.
Yeah, he's a dog, bro. He's a dog. Another guy I like is David Walker. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch of him because I think he's like from like Central Arkansas or something like that.
Wow.
But 6'2", 260, very good against the run, strong. And has that speed. Like he's a twitchy guy as well. Reminds me a lot of Derek Hall out of Auburn, who I loved a couple years ago. But it is what it is. So what else? Oh, so I will also be getting into the cornerback group. I have about 7 or 8 guys to look into.
Nice.
I will be looking at Trey Amos. I'll be looking at Jade Barron, Siobhan Ravel. He is here. All right, cool.
Nice.
I got the Steelers in here. So yeah, Siobhan Ravel is another guy I'll look into. Darian Porter. I'm gonna look at the Kansas guys, Mello Dotson and Kobe Bryant. I'll look into Maxwell Harrison, the kid out of Kentucky. There's another one. There's a kid that went to there's a California kid, Noel Williams, and there's one more guy I think I missed. Dorian Strong. I'm gonna look at him, and then I want to check out this kid from I think South Carolina, Odell Fortune. I want to take a look at him and see, how I feel about that guy. And then we'll get into the receivers because I do think receiver is something else that we have to look into. One more thing we're going to talk about. James Cook. James Cook is talking about $15 million a year. That's where he's looking. And I hope this is like a bargaining tactic where you start high and you just hope to end up around 10 or 11 million a year because that's like honestly, guys, that's what he's worth. Don't get me wrong. We can watch Cook highlights all day, and and he looks the part of a top. I think he's a top 5 running back. I will put him right after Josh Jacobs. So I would have the top 5 running backs. I would have Saquon number 1, Derrick Henry number 2, Josh Jacobs number 3, and then I would have James Cook at number 4 with and at number 5, I mean, I don't know. Who cares? Who cares who's number? Who cares? Who
I
cares?
could hear Jeff fans saying Brees Hall already, but
Oh, it's definitely
just,
Jet fans. It's not Brees Hall.
I had to put that out there.
Yeah, it's definitely not Brees Hall. I like Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon's a dog.
Yeah, he is good.
So I would
Especially-
probably put him there.
Especially in the playoffs, he just has that.
Yeah,
Just his running style, just really.
he's a beast. He is a beast.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I looked at I looked at I looked at some stuff. I looked at James Cook's numbers, and he's putting up great numbers. Like I can't argue with the numbers, but what I can argue with is the usage. He is not using. He's not being used as much as some of the other top guys are. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand what he expects. Why he expects to get paid more than guys that are being used more than he is. He is a big part of the offense, 100%. He's a dynamic pass catcher. He's an elusive, explosive runner with the football. Dangerous with the ball in his hands. Not the best pass blocker. Not the best pass blocker. Has had his fair share of drops, as well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not paying. I don't think the Bills should pay him $15 million. I mean, if that's what you want, like this is a great draft for running backs. We should just take one now and put a package together and get him up out of there because I don't think we can afford $15 million. I would love for James Cook to retire. I don't know about retire, but I would love for James Cook to be around for us while. Wait, what?
Really, kind of. You really want him to be a part of Josh Allen's prime.
Yeah, man, of course.
All the way till he's like if he gets to 34, 35 and he's around. Go.
Yeah, no, I'm not keeping him around.
12.5. Would you settle on that number right there? 12.5.
12.5 works for me. I would definitely do 12.5. That's fine. That would be fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and listen, I can never blame a player. We said this a million times, right? This is a violent sport. We see it.
Right.
Anything can happen. Nothing's guaranteed. I can't. When you have a chance to get generational wealth like that, you go for it. I mean, I can never begrudge a player for doing that. So, hey, he might as well start high. I agree with it. Why not? Get their attention. He doesn't want to get shortchanged, and I can't blame him. Not at all. I'm sure it'll be something that they'll find a sweet spot. And like you said, there's some interesting options in this draft at running back that the Bills, it will be interesting to see how Brandon Beane attacks that in the draft coming up. I mean, do we lose Ty Johnson, right? We're going to have to see how things look after free agency as well. So that could be a big player on what we do come April.
All right. So now that we've discussed some Billsy news, is there anything else? I feel like I'm missing something.
Well, first thing I just the Myles Garrett trade. Did you want to get into that a little bit and touch on that a little bit?
I mean, there's some tweets and stuff floating around about Myles Garrett, and apparently 4 different teams called to inquire about Myles, and Andrew Berry laughed at one of the offers and told the other 3 no. So if there's any truth to that, I think the Bills just need to prepare for the draft. I mean, and folks, like, again, we are 3 points away from winning an AFC Championship. Like, we're always 3 points worse than the Chiefs, and the blueprint's out. If you get the defensive line correct, you can get past the Chiefs, right? You get cornerback 2 right, you can get past the Chiefs. That's the goal. The goal is to get past the Chiefs, and we'll let Josh Allen the rest of these guys figure things out in the Super Bowl. But first and foremost, man, you got to get by the Chiefs, and the only way you do that is by putting a better defense on the field. We're giving up, I think a little bit under 33 points a game to Kansas City in the playoffs while Josh Allen's been here. That's unacceptable. You can't win. You can't expect to win games giving up 33 points in the playoffs. Like, we're scoring 27, 29. Like, you should win every playoff game where you score 27 or more points. Unacceptable. It's unacceptable to lose those games. So that's another thing. And just a PSA, because we're going to get into a live mock. We have right now we have 3 other teams represented in the back channels right now. Let me see if we can get, since the Chiefs are home, let's see if we can get a Chiefs representative in here.
Excellent. Now, as far as this mock, are we doing a first round mock?
No, it's going to be 3 rounds. It's going to be 3
rounds. Excellent. Yeah, and the other thing about Brandon Beane, I keep coming back to what he always talks about, playing the long game. He wants a long-term success, right? He wants to build that kind of franchise, right? And how deep is he really going to go for a guy like Myles Garrett? Now, I know he's dipped in and got Stephon Diggs for a first and a fourth. We've seen a trade. He's done it in the past. I mean, he signed Von Miller to a $120 million contract that we knew was either going to be a boom or, I would say, a bust type move, and it's been a little bit of both, probably more on the bust side, to be truthful. But we'll have to see how far Beane is ready to swing this offseason. And I think it's if I had to handicap it, I do not think Myles Garrett will be a Buffalo Bill when it's all said and done.
I agree. And at this point, like, do you want to be tied into that? Do you want to have your picks just kind of dangling around and be waiting? I mean, obviously you got to do all the work, but let's just get the trade done. That way we can focus our efforts into the picks that we're gonna keep, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, do we have the type of depth on this defense where we could afford to take that risk? And if he gets hurt, right? If something happens with Myles Garrett, I mean, obviously that would hurt, but do we have the depth on the back end to overcome that? Because we're going to have gaps in our draft coming up, because we're going to trade some premium picks to get Myles Garrett, and we could potentially lose other players like a James Cook, like maybe even a Terrell Bernard, or maybe even a Christian Benford coming up when their contracts are up. So it's a tough decision. Now, we all know the cap. You could stretch things out. The Bills have that capability. They're going to restructure, but I mean, look at the New Orleans Saints and look how much they restructured. They're still paying the price for that. Do you want to be that kind of team going forward, where it's no man's land for years? And so that's something that they really have to think about.
Real quick PSA. Bills fans, please do me a favor, okay? All right, do me a favor. Stop saying draft Mike Green at 30, please. Like, can y'all do that for me? Just stop. The man is 6'2", 6'3", 250 pounds, and he dominated at Marshall. Okay, because what'll happen is Mike Green will be available at 22, and if the Bills go up and trade up and take him, you guys will all celebrate until he gets on the field and he gets blown off the ball against the Ravens, and they run for 100. They run for 260 yards. Then you'll be saying fire Sean McDermott, because why can't the defensive coach stop the run? And you'll fail to correlate how a 6'3", 250-pound edge rusher who's not effective putting his hand in the dirt from Marshall is not holding up his edge against the run. So let's just avoid those difficult conversations in the 2025 season. Please, let's just do that.
Agree.
Let's avoid those conversations, guys, okay? Just as easy as you can get on social media, you can look up Spot Rack and figure out how much T. Higgins is going to cost. Here's a quick answer. He's going to cost more than we can afford. So let's just stop saying T. Higgins to Buffalo. It's not happening unless he is on the team that we play this year. That's the only way he's coming to Buffalo. But anyway, we're going to welcome in 3 special guests, and I gotta switch this thing out. Okay, and all right, there we go. All right, so we got the Steelers, we have the Dolphins, and we have the Raiders represented here. We're going to do a live 3-round mock draft. I was trying to get the Chiefs in here, but they're still looking at wounds from that chastising they received on Super Bowl Sunday. So welcome Guru, welcome K-Mac, welcome Wit, welcome to the Coast to Coast Pod. We appreciate y'all taking some time, popping on, and we're gonna knock this out. So before we go, you guys introduce yourselves. I mean, I know I did, but talk to the people real quick. We'll start with Guru. Guru's been here before, but we'll start with you, and we'll go to K-Mac, and we'll go to Wit. So go ahead, Guru. It's on you, bro. You on mute, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out Coast to Coast, man. I'm hoping you guys don't take my picks like you usually do, but just appreciative to be here, man.
All right, K-Mac.
What's good, everybody? Happy to be here, man. Fins up.
Fins down.
Fins down. Tough K-Mac.
Fins down, guys. Go on. No. All right, Wit, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody? Wit representing Steelers. Not Steelers, but Raiders.
Oh, that got good.
Oh, yeah, that's recorded. That's recorded.
We got a new two-teamer.
We open you with open arms over here, bro.
We got to clip that Guru for his face.
Is that bad over there? That's crazy.
Clip it.
This is black and yellow. Oh, no. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this. I don't know how this is gonna work. I hope it works. All right, there we go. All right. Well, you're not gonna get everybody on the screen, but so I have it set up for 3 rounds. The computer program or the algorithm, whatever, will select for the teams not represented here. So we have the Raiders, we have the Dolphins, Steelers, and of course the Bills.
Got it clipped, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. It's already clipped. It's already clipped. We'll be producing. We'll be mass producing this on the Spaces tomorrow. No, but all right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Now, if y'all want to make trades between yourselves, you can. I'm not trading with anybody. I know where I want to go in this draft. So
pick 13 is available just in case Widow wants Mike Green.
Let me trade for pick 2. We'll get started.
Nah, we're not trading with the computer, man. We're not trading with the computer.
Go ahead.
Let's see what happens. All right, let me drop the speed down a little bit so we can see who's going. All right. Cam Ward is gone. All right, it's on you. Wit. You let's see. So far, Cam is gone. Abdul Carter, Ted McMillan's gone. Will Johnson, James Pierce, number 5, went 5th overall to the Jaguars. That is definitely a Jaguars pick.
Yes.
You know what I'm picking, man.
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Quarterback.
I know. We're going Shador Sanders, correct?
Yes.
I think you have
All
to
right.
at that point. It's a no-brainer to me. Especially if you
Shador.
can fix and get him. That's phenomenal.
Ooh, Travis Hunter just fell off the board. It's on the Dolphins, pick 13. Where we going? All right, let's see. So, let me know if you need me to recap everybody that's been picked.
I think I see Ashton Genty went to Panthers. That's interesting. Malachi Starks is gone too. Wow. Luther Burden, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Travis Hunter. I think my pick is pretty simple. I'm going Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. I like that. I like that pick for them. Next up will be the Steelers. Let's see what you got. Go.
I'm going Walter Nolan from Ole Miss.
All right. Walter Nolan, straight to the point. Think y'all got enough defensive tackles over there, or just going to get them all?
Yeah, you never can have too many, especially when you give up 300 yards in a playoff game.
That's true. All right, so it's on Buffalo. You know what? Before we go, I'm gonna have you guys, like, as you make your picks, explain why you're making your picks. So we just not, so people don't look at what's going on and say, oh, they just picking random people. So when you had the first pick out of the user control player, so why did you go Shador Sanders?
I feel like it's the missing piece. Looking at success of my other teams in the AFC West, Commanders, even with New England, I feel like you have to get your quarterback, especially in the AFC. It's been long overdue for us. So regardless, I think you got to take a flyer on Shador at 6.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, you have to have a quarterback. I think if you protect him, he's extremely accurate. He can extend plays. I think his field vision is very good, and I think the way that the way he sees the game, the way he sees the field from the quarterback position is probably, in my opinion, it's the best. I think he has the highest floor of the quarterbacks that'll go in this draft. May not have the highest upside, but definitely the highest floor. I mean, you want to beat the Chiefs, you want to compete in the AFC West, you can't make a ton of mistakes. So I like the pick. K-Mac, you picked Tyler Warren. Please let the people know, why did you pick Tyler Warren?
Tyler Warren is 6'6", 260 pounds. The holes that he opens in the run game are huge. His ability to catch the ball and run after the catch is the closest thing that I've seen to Kittle in a while. And then from there, the Dolphins' biggest issue right now is offensive line. But we were able to draft a left tackle to replace Armstead last year. You have Austin Jackson coming back at right tackle. Didn't necessarily see the 13th pick as an opportunity to get one of those tackles. And I just think there's a bigger gap between Tyler Warren and the next tight end that's able to block and pass catch between anybody else. So I think we'll be able to, in the second and third, be able to come back and get guard help, defensive tackle help, and still be all right.
Right. Guru, you took Walter Nolan. Please let the people know. What was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a top 10, top 15 talent for him to fall to 21. Tremendous value. 5-star recruit coming out of high school, commits to A&M, transfers to Ole Miss. Consistent All-American last year. I think about 5.5, 6.5 sacks. 6'3", 305, just a perfect scheme fit. When you look at the Steelers' defensive line, their front it's not stout enough against the run and against the pass. And when you got guys like T.J. Watt getting triple teamed, guys in the interior, they're going to have to create interior pressure. But I think his best football is ahead of him. There's so much untapped potential. He led up the Mobile at the Senior Bowl in the one-on-ones, and I also think you're getting an outstanding young man as well, who, you know, you want somebody that's going to bring intangibles, that's going to want to follow a guy like Cam Hayward, follow a guy like Keanu Benton, throw his hand in the pot, and I think that'd just be tremendous value.
Excellent point. Excellent point. I think when you have the edge rushers that you have, interior pressure matters so much. So whenever you can get a guy who is proven to, and then you get to pair him with the guy you took, was it 2 years ago, Keanu Benton. So yeah, I think that was a great pick. For Buffalo, I'm gonna go with Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas. I thought about Trey Amos here or Siobhan Ravel. Those guys are outside. Those guys are outside corners, 100%. But Jahdae Barron to me is a chess piece. He can play safety. He can play nickel. He can play outside. I mean, he's very sticky in coverage. Instincts on the football are great. Does not mind coming down and helping out in the run. I think you draft a guy like Jahdae this year. Taron Johnson's going to be 29. If he's not 29 already, at some point you're going to have to move on from him. And when you have a guy like Jahdae Barron, you have your path for the nickel and that Buffalo defense for the future. So we're taking Jahdae Barron right there. All right, next up, pick 37 will be the Raiders.
Can we see who got picked in the meantime? Because it kind of went a little fast.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so we'll go back to after Guru. After Guru, Matthew Golden, Michael Williams, Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Landon Jackson went in the first round. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was wow. Landon Jackson's gone. Armand Membo, the tackle from Missouri. TJ Sanders, Greg Zabel went to the Commanders. Josh Connolly, surprisingly enough, tackle goes to the Chiefs. They need one. And Princely, Princely from Ole Miss. He goes to the Eagles. I mean, and this makes sense because the Eagles, they spent all that money on what's the guy from the
Bryce Huff.
Yeah, Bryce Huff. And he really couldn't do it. He really didn't do anything. So they get a guy that can come in and replace him right away, and he's on a rookie deal for 4 years, and he got the 50 option. Tolly Williams, first pick of the second round to the Browns. Jack Beck, wow, he's flying up the boards. Trey Amos to the Titans. Yeah, that's my guy. Demetrius Knight to the Jags. The Jags with 2 questionable picks already. So this is right up there. This is right up there alley. This is perfect. All right,
they still got the same GM.
They fired him, but I mean, it's still a bad. It's maybe the algorithm is still operating like Trent Baalke's still there.
They still got that same owner, and that's the problem there. So,
right. So, all right, it's on you. It's on you. What Raiders are out.
Okay. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay, I'm good. You can go back up. I think I'm gonna go with Siobhan Ravel.
Siobhan Ravel, corner out of Eastern Carolina. All right, talk to me, man. What's behind the pick?
So, but looking at Pete Carroll's last 2 drafts, he picked a running back in the second round. And I think 2022 he drafted Kenneth Walker, and then 2023 his last draft with the Seahawks he drafted Zach Charbonnet, and then in the 7th round he came back in Kenny McIntosh. Now I could have, but I also have to put in perspective that I have Chip Kelly. So I'm thinking that Travion Henderson or Quishon Junkins would be there for me in the early third, with the already deep running back class. So why not get a corner to pair on the opposite side of Jacorian Bennett with much needed improvement in that cornerback room. So I think that just with familiarity with Chip Kelly's system, I think that I should go after one of the two Ohio State running backs instead of Amari Hampton.
Yeah, you're right. Jacorian Bennett out of Maryland came in and I mean I didn't expect him to play as well as he did.
Right.
He's been a certified baller for y'all. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins.
But you already know I'm pissed because Arizona just took my guy Tyler Booker. Can we scroll up a little bit?
Sure.
No. I want to see the other picks before then. So Watts is off the board. Jihad is off the board. All right. Do we want to keep this realistic? Because the right pick would be Jalen Walker if he's there. But I'm gonna stick to need just because I just feel like that's not gonna happen. Can we go to guard? I think there should be a guard from Arizona available. Interior O-line, Iowa.
Oh,
Might be listed at tackle. Jonah Sevilla.
okay. And your thought process behind that?
Jonah Sevilla is in my opinion the second best guard in this draft. There's a lot of people who think that he might not make it past 40. Tyler Booker may be a top 20 to 25 pick. And Jonah Sevilla is the next best thing. Really good in pass protection. Also gives you a little bit of mobility in the run game as well. If, like I said, once again, with the Miami Dolphins, their interior pressure this year was absolutely unbearable. And so being able to shore that up with the pick in a second is pretty good.
All right. Sports Guru, it's on you. Where we going at 53?
Yeah. Can you go to can you scroll down on the best available for me? Okay. Yeah, you can stop. Steelers are going to take Darius Alexander from Toledo, defensive tackle. Yeah, the logic behind that is the trenches are just not good enough, and now the rich gets richer. You can wait and find a true nose either in free agency or free agencies before the draft, or you can wait to the later rounds and get a guy. I won't say his name, but there's a couple of nose tackle candidates that I think they can get in the later rounds that can start. But Darius Alexander, he's a freak of nature. A guy that I went to Toledo, played in the MAC, and just a football player. This young man actually had a 58-yard pick six. A guy that's very dominant at the point of contact. It's funny, his comp is, for me, it's Keanu Benton. I think he's a little bit more accelerated, a little bit more pro-ready, good hand usage, good pad level, and he just has a motor. And you look at the Super Bowl, another good comp probably is a Milton Williams coming out of Middle Tennessee State, kind of the same prototype, same mold, same story. And that gives the Steelers finally an ability to be able to probably rush with 4 or 5. And if you can do that at a high level, you play disciplined coverage behind it, you're going to have an upper advantage.
All right. So I'm up at 56. I think one of the biggest needs of the Bills this year, coming into this season, was safety. And I understand that this is probably not the range or whatever that PFF has them in, but I just think you can't pass up on a 6'3", 230-pound guy that's going to run a 4.3. I think he's a massive chess piece for a defense that wants to stay in the nickel, and you still want to be able to defend the run. So it's like having another linebacker on the field. He's actually bigger than Terrell Bernard. So I'm going to take with this selection, we're going to draft Nicholas E. Manwari from damn, they just took him
South
too.
Carolina.
Yep. Yeah, South Carolina. Yeah, I was trying to catch Alfred Collins at 62, and he went at 61. Yeah, defensive tackle, defensive interior is something that we have to address. And I'm going to take a guy that I think can play inside and outside. Deion Walker, 6'6", 345. Yeah, 345, 350. Big dude. They played him everywhere. If you look, he's lined up all over the place. They line him up, outside the tackle, over the tackle, in B gap, A gap. It doesn't matter. And I understand that he's raw. I understand that he's not fully. I know he's not fully tooled up yet, but you just can't pass. To me, you just can't pass up on the upside. So I'm going to take Deion Walker here for the Bills, and we are going to move forward. All right, number 68, pick 68 goes to the Raiders. Who we taking?
Can you scroll down a little bit?
All right, no problem.
I'm taking. All right, you can go back up. I'm going to take Wyatt Mullum.
Tackle, okay. Tackle, all right. Now, is he a left tackle, right tackle?
You can move him inside and play him at guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And y'all got who? Y'all got Colton Miller, right? Is he?
Yeah. So our tackles are straight with Colton Miller, and also our rookie last year, Delmar Glaze. Delmar Glaze was one of the highest ranked, rated right tackles in general as far as rookies, and also in the league at one point in a few weeks. But I just think we're moving Jackson Powers Johnson inside. You put Andre James in the bench. You can work with a Jordan Meredith at left guard, but you do have to improve that right guard position over Parham. I feel like Wyatt provides you flexibility as far as you can move him outside or inside, depending on injuries. But I think you can put him right at right guard or even left guard beside JPJ.
All right.
And then you would turn around and you would get your running back, Travion Henderson.
Oh yeah. Oh, y'all got 2/3.
Mm-hmm. Devontae trade.
Yep. You said who you taking? Quinshon?
Travion Henderson.
Travion. Okay. All right. I was going to ask you about. That was the next question I was going to ask you about. It is a deep running back draft. Wow, Jeffrey Bossa just went off the board. All right, go. It's on you. 85. Pick number 85.
Can you scroll down a little bit for me? Yeah, let me get a Trey Harris from Ole Miss.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I knew that was coming.
The Ole Miss
level. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Ole Miss Rebels, man. The Steelers try to usually double dip from a school. They haven't really done it. I think the last time was when they got Broderick Jones and Darnell Washington in the same draft. But Trey Harris, I mean, you're looking at a 6'3", almost 6'4" physical specimen, around 205 pounds. Another obvious prototype is A.J. Brown with the same alma mater. But this is a guy that's a one-cut receiver, meaning that if he puts his foot in the ground, he's gone. Slant route, an out route, intermediate drag, mesh route concept. he's a playmaker, but most of all, his hand-eye coordination, late hands, his ability to make contested catches. It's a great compliment to a team that has a number one receiver in George Pickens, but Trey Harris is, I think, an immediate wide receiver too. Very well coached. I think the best thing about him is he's another guy that still has some untapped potential. He can definitely enhance his route tree, but immediately he's going to be able to win on the perimeter. And I think he's an underrated blocker as well.
Yeah, I agree. He's a three-level route runner. He can win. He can beat you deep. He can run the intermediate routes. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands as well. So yeah, and that was one of the things that you guys needed on that Steelers offense was another target that was consistently going to be able to get open with George Pickens. So pairing those two guys together, I like your tight ends, and then you got that demon Jaylen Warren in the backfield. So yeah, man, that's a good look. That's a good look for the Steelers. Miami Dolphins up at pick number 98. Where are we going, K-Mac?
Yeah, can you scroll down a little bit? All right. Think I saw my pick a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. I'm gonna go Jordan Phillips.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think that's where you were going.
What'd you think?
I thought you were gonna go the Texas safety.
Yeah, we kind of talked about his size a little bit being a factor. Really want to be able to see what he comes in at the combine. To me, it was between safety and D tackle or interior D line, and I decided to go interior D line. Got to start planning for a life without Zach Seiler. Eventually, he's getting up there in age. Not really. I think he still has about 4 more years. But even if his play starts to decline, you can start to have a younger piece, or you can just have a guy next to Zach Seiler who can be serviceable. So you can see a trend with this draft is really attacking the trenches, which I think Miami has to do this offseason.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I don't want you guys to, but I don't want you guys to attack. You definitely that is something that you definitely want to be able to do, especially when you got to go up against quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Drake May twice a year, and then who knows, the Jets may sign a guy or you never know, man. Maybe Jordan Travis is really good and we just don't know it.
Right.
Probably not though. All right. So we'll recap the picks by teams. So you had Shedeur Sanders go first, Siobhan Ravel go in the second, and then double dip with Wyatt Millum and Travion Henderson. What's your satisfaction level if that's the way the draft ends up for you in the first 3 rounds, first 2 days?
I think that's ideal. I think with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, they're setting themselves up to run the ball. I think we get a whole revamped running back room and obviously addressing the quarterback room. So you get your quarterback in the first round. And the second round, you get a huge need in cornerback room with Siobhan Ravel, who arguably was supposed to be a high first-round pick if he didn't tear his ACL beginning of the season. But and then you turn around and you come and you get your lineman that you need to pair with your center, and now basically complete your O-line for your quarterback. And then you turn around and get familiarity in the running back room with Chip Kelly, with Travion Henderson, who I have as my running back too.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at Shedeur Sanders react to Theo Yates' latest mock He says,
Yeah.
"Yo, that's cap. I ain't going sixth." And in this draft, he went sixth. So,
Mhm.
all right. So we'll go to Miami. We'll go. K Mac, you went Tyler Warren. You went Jonas. I'm not even gonna try it. The
Yeah,
tackle from
Jonah.
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah.
You went Jonah
Jonah.
and Jordan Phillips. So
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed you didn't. I noticed neither one of you guys, you or Wit, went with an edge. So I'm guessing you are expecting Max Crosby to not be traded, and K Mac, you're expecting Bradley Chubb to stay with the team. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
So I'm expecting JP to be with the team. He'll be on the 5th-year option. I expect us not to rush him back. Of course, we had a good year from Chop. People also forget we slow walked Mo Kamari as a 5th-round pick last year. Definitely
Right.
want to see him get a little bit of more rotation. So I don't necessarily think edge is something that they absolutely have to address early in the draft. I also think a situation where you can go to the table with Bradley Chubb and say, "Hey, look, you've had 2 season-ending injuries. You can go into free agency, but we still want you here. Would you be willing to take a pay cut? It seems like he likes it here." And built relationships with JP. So I think that's an area where if he walks, he walks. If he if he decides to stay, then great. But if he walks, I don't necessarily think you have to go and invest a first this year, or second or third this year. I think you should go after maybe a cheaper free agent that can be a rotational guy instead of investing that capital, especially when you have other needs in the team.
All
If I
right.
had to change one pick, it would probably be the 3rd round pick, and that's just a situation where I think you and I'll have some more conversations around safety. I think there's some guys that we want to see the height and the weight.
Right.
We want to see some of the stuff at the combine, and I think that'll probably push some guys either forward or back on our draft. But I think in that third, if you're gonna go Tyler Warren and you're gonna go guard at second, you have to find a way to get either a D tackle or a safety there.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. And all right, so Guru, Steelers, Walter Nolan, Darius Alexander, and you took Trey Harris. So how are you feeling if the draft ends up moving in that direction for you?
I'm feeling sensational. That is what you consider just let the board fall to you. I also think that that's what it's going to take. If the Steelers want significant changes, they're going to have to invest in a defensive line in the first 3 rounds. I know a lot of people are screaming for running back, but it's one of the deepest running back classes since 2000. So I thought that in the 4th, you still could find a starting capable guy. You have Jalen Warren, who averages about 4.5 yards a carry. So Trey Harris is the rich gets richer. This is a guy that should go in the 2nd. Is a date. I mean, he's a perfect complementary to George, and most of all, he's an Arthur Smith fit. You remember Corey Davis coming to Western Michigan? Corey Davis with the Titans is a similar type of prototype. And then Darius Alexander. I mean, the Steelers have had a track record of if they like a young man, they trust their board compared to the mass. So like an Alex Highsmith coming out of Charlotte, those type Deontay Johnson coming out of Toledo in the 3rd round. Then the MAC, they've drafted out of the MAC pretty well. You even can go back to an undrafted guy by the name of Robert Spillane. I think Darius Alexander is a guy that will grow. Teams get to top 30 visits to figure out the characteristics of these young men. And I just think that when Darius Alexander meets with the Steelers brass again, they met with him at the Senior Bowl. I think it's just a guy that they feel that won't be there in the third, right? Picking at 52 is a luxury. Miami Dolphins, I'm sure that would have been in play, or whoever picked ahead of us. So I think this would be a tremendous, haul. You're getting 3 starters from day one, and I think 3 guys who hasn't even tapped into their ceilings yet.
Okay. I thought that you would. I thought that you would take corner at some point in these first 3 rounds, but I think there was a little run on the corners that kind of pushed some of those guys out of the way. So I'm gonna go with the Bills. I have the Bills taking Johnny Barron, Nicholas Emenwari, and Deion Walker. I look at these 3 guys like Johnny Barron is to me his comp, like he just reminds me so much of a Trent McDuffie, and Trent McDuffie is somebody the Bills had targeted. The Chiefs traded ahead of us and took him. So I think if you get the opportunity to go and get him now, you go and do it. And you throw him on the other side of Christian Benford, and you have your cornerback duo for the future. Again, I see him translating on the inside a little bit more, but there's time for that. Taron Johnson's got a few more good years in him, and then we can just naturally move Jade inside, and then go out and find another outside corner. Emenwari and Deion Walker, those picks were about need and traits. The need is the safety and the defensive interior, but the traits I think you just can't overlook. 6'3", 230 pounds, free safety that's probably going to run low 4.4s, 4.3, somewhere in that range, and just his ability to cover. To just be all over the field. I mean, they lined him up everywhere. They lined him up in the box. They lined him up deep. He can play the half. He can play the third. He can come into the box and play man. The last 2 years, he has, I want to say over the last 2 years, he has 6 interceptions and 10 pass breakups just in the last 2 years. So, I mean, and that's a lot considering in college football, most teams are running the football. They're throwing screens. They're not taking a ton of shots down the middle of the field, unless you're playing those elite level programs that trust their quarterbacks to do it. And then Deion Walker. Deion Walker is 6'6", 350. Plays on. They played him at the defensive end spot. They played him at the 5. He can play inside. And you see the flashes. You see it. You see the footwork. You see the athleticism. I don't know anybody 6'6", 350 hitting people with false steps, hezzies, and then counter spins in to the inside shoulder to tackle. Like there are very few guys that size that are able to put all of that together and still stay on their feet. So you see that stuff. I mean, there's some things about his pad level being too high, and and then obviously there's the infamous rep against the 5'10" center or interior lineman at the Senior Bowl where he got stood up. But I honestly don't care about that. I think you get a guy like that, you coach him. Daquan Jones is still under contract for another year. You already have at Oliver, you have Dwayne Carter, who you took in the 3rd round last year, and then push come to shove, you bring Jordan Phillips back as a practice squad / 5th defensive lineman that you bring in and you allow him to play early while you coach this kid up. And once he's ready, you bring him in. The first time I saw Deion Walker, I thought to myself, Chris Jones. I looked at him and immediately just said, this guy is Chris Jones. He's Chris Jones part 2. I think he can get there. but obviously it's going to be up to the coach, and this is a defensive coaching staff that has done a very good job getting the most out of every position group outside of the defensive line. So with the defensive linemen coaches that they hired, they brought in a couple of guys in the offseason that specifically focus on defensive line. So I think that's the path that they're going. You take a guy like Deion Walker, in 2-3 years, you could have an absolute game record. Turn on the tape when he played against Georgia. Turn on the tape where he's a load. He's a load to deal with, and you can move him around. He's another one of those chess piece players, and I think you got a bunch of those guys. That's something that Brandon Beane talked about, and Sean McDermott talked about as well. Is like you got to have a difference maker. You got to have those game changer guys on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we have the MVP in Josh Allen. I think James Cook at this point is a game changer. You need another guy. You need a guy on the defensive side. You get a Deion Walker. Maybe he can become that. Maybe Jahdae Barron can become that. Maybe Nicholas Emen-Ward can become that. That's where we are. And I know that was a little long-winded, but I appreciate you guys. We talk ball all the time. We talk draft. We're going to continue to do this. I hope to do this again, and I hope to have more teams represented. And we're going to continue to try and bring you good content and bring on guests that know what they're talking about. We're not bringing on people for clicks. We're not bringing on people to drive up the interactions or streams. We're not doing none of that. We're talking football. We're talking to people who know what they're talking about. We're talking to people who put the work in. Everybody say they watch all 22, and then you ask them where they get their all 22 from, and they call you out your name, right? They call you out your name and they leave the space. So, but anyway, once again, Sports Guru, K-Mac, Wit, man, we appreciate you guys popping in with us. Thank you, and we will have you back if you want. We'll have you guys back the next time we do this.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. Shout out to
Thank you, guys. It was great. Excellent.
For sure,
all right,
man.
gents.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night.
All right.
Later, guys.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Right.
Whittle, that was great.
Right.
That was a great mock, and I love the explanations. And actually, I couldn't agree more. And just all the reasons. I mean, I never thought about Tyler Warren depends to the Dolphins, but that does make sense.
Yeah,
The way you described it. And imagine getting Shedeur Sanders at 6, where the Raiders don't have to move up. I mean, wow, that would be, for me, that's a windfall for the Raiders. Your mock for us, Whittle. Oh, I'll tell you what. If we end up with that haul,
we better be in the Super Bowl.
Miles who?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This draft is so deep with defensive line, defensive line players, and maybe you know what? Maybe you don't have, maybe there isn't, a Myles Garrett or a Von Miller in this draft. Maybe there isn't. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. And if there is one, we're not going to get him at 30. But
well, hey,
again, I keep saying this: we lost to the Chiefs 2 years in a row by 3 points. We are not that far away, folks. We really aren't.
Whittle, something we brought up last show: 2 game changers on defense of recent memory. T.J. Watt was picked number 30 in the first round. Chris Jones was second round pick 37. I think the biggest thing is it's not going to be this year. Like Deion Walker has that ability, but to expect him to jump right in the NFL and have that Chris Jones level right away, it's just an unrealistic projection, right? It just takes some time to adjust to the NFL. I mean, he could be an excellent player. He could be very good, but to be that guy we think he could be, it could be 3 years from now, it could be 2 years from now. Is that worth it for Brandon Beane? But like you said, we're only a few plays away. Do we really what if we're able to get Max Crosby at a cheaper trade, or maybe some other defensive end that's out there, some other edge rusher that can help us out? It costs us a lot less. So it's going to be a long process in the offseason, and it's going to, and again, our mocks are definitely going to change based on what some of these teams do and don't do, but But I'll tell you what, if we end up with those three players, Whittle, even two of them, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't know that they don't. I don't know that Deion Walker doesn't make an impact in year one. 6'6", 345. You pay him next to Ed Oliver. It's going to be very, very difficult for teams to double team both those guys on the inside. And if you leave Deion Walker 1-on-1 with your guard, I mean, maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. Maybe and for those situations, you know what? It's up to the coverage, and that's why I attack corner and safety, because I think those are the two weakest spots: cornerback 2 and safety. So I'll say this, just like I'm going to continue to say this until it resonates. Whether it's a sack from the front four getting pressure, or it's a sack because the coverage from the back seven was so good that it gave those guys up front extra time to get home, they still count the same. Like, sack is the sack, and I'll take it either way. I'll take it if Johnny Barron is sticky in coverage and you have no place to go with the football, so you got to dirt the ball, or you got to take a sack, a coverage sack. Fine. If Deion Walker blows your guard up and he gets pressure and forces you into the arms of Rousseau, forces your quarterback into the arms of Rousseau, I'll take that. Like, that's fine as well. It doesn't matter to me. However we get it done, it doesn't matter. It's just getting it done. Now, I know that we did not touch wide receiver. I know that there are going to be people, Bills fans, who are going to complain and say, "Why we don't have a wide receiver? Why didn't we get a wide receiver?" Folks, the Buffalo Bills scored the most points in the NFL this year. When you include the playoffs, we were number one in scoring. We put up the most points with the wide receiver group that we have. I do think the wide receiver is an area that we need to address. I think it's a specific type of wide receiver. It is a wide receiver with some speed and the ability to get open and, on the third level of the defense. That is what I want. I want a field stretcher, somebody that's going to create space for the underneath targets that we have, like Kincaid, like Khalil Shakir, our running backs. I said Kincaid already. Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins. You want guys that are going to create space for them. And who knows? Maybe Curtis Samuel comes back healthy this year, and we see the speed that we thought we were going to see this past season. Maybe we see it this year. Either way, I think it needs to be addressed. There's a few guys later on in the draft that I think we can look at that will end up, we'll fit that need, or that point, that thing that we need, that skill set. So, and we'll address it. We'll address it like that, or we'll just go to the free agency, and I don't know, sign DJ Chark or something like that. Speaking of free agency, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was ready I was waiting for the speaking of free agency.
Speaking of free agency, I know people have said things about just like outlandish stuff, like T Higgins, and like the Tutu Atwell thing is just blowing my mind, bro. Like, what are we signing Tutu Atwell for? The dude is like 5'8", 160 pounds. Like, it doesn't make sense. Especially when we had Xavier Worthy last year at like 28, we could have took him, who was the exact same player, just a lot faster and a lot better. Like, that's not where we're going. So we do need to address certain areas. I do think we need another edge rusher. I do believe that.
Yes.
And I would like to draft one, but I think the needs of defensive tackle, safety, and corner outweigh the needs of the defensive end. I think when you look at Greg Rousseau, he's top 20 in pressures, top 10 in quarterback hits. Like he's getting home. He's getting to the quarterback. He's just not getting sacks. And the way you fix that to me is interior pressure. I don't think adding another edge rusher I don't think adding another rookie edge rusher is going to help that. I don't think that I don't think I don't think that that's the quick solve. I think the quick solve is you either trade for Miles Garrett, or Mason, or Max Crosby, or Trey Hendrickson, or you go and you get some defensive linemen, some interior guys that are going to make things a little easier on Ed Oliver. And Ed can be disruptive. You just got to give him a little bit of help in there. I think if we can do that, you'll see this defense really change the third down deficiencies that we had this year defensively. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Edge rusher that I'd like everybody to pay attention to. Number one for me is Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon's coming off of he's a year removed from like an elbow injury that kind of took his 2022 season away. So 2020, or was it 2023? Yeah, 2023 season. So the 2024 season for him was kind of down playing in Atlanta. I don't know if it was a scheme. I don't know if it was a scheme thing. I don't know what it was, but he just didn't play well. I think that'll drive his price down a bit. He is an East Coast guy. Atlanta, played for the Patriots before that, the Ravens before that. So, maybe we can get him in Buffalo. We might have to reach out to one of our friends on Twitter.
Yeah, before that 23 season, he really played every game.
Oh, yeah.
His availability, that's another thing the Bills look at a lot. They like players that are generally available. I mean, he had that one injury, but other than that, he's been very durable. So,
and what did he have in those 2 years before the injury? I think it was 29 sacks, right? 16 and 13? Something like that?
Let's see. I believe I'm trying to get the stats here. Oh, 12 and a half and 15 and a half.
Okay, yeah. So right there.
Close.
So
right around
27, 28. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, he's 32. He's 32 right now. Definitely probably on the downward end of his career, but I don't want to pay for Chase Young. He had 6 sacks last year.
Agree.
You get Chase Young, you pay him $15 million a year for 3 years, and what is he going to do? He's giving you the same numbers that you're getting from AJ Epinesa already. No thanks. Like, I'll just keep Epinesa. I'll keep Groot, and I'll pay those guys, and we'll bring in a Judon for 2 years at at $7 or $8 million a year, and then you let Javon Solomon play, and maybe you draft a kid out of Texas, Sorrell. Maybe you get him in the 4th. Maybe you get Braden Swenson. Maybe you get the kid from UCLA. Maybe you get one of those guys, and you're good to go. You don't have to rush them. You can kind of walk those guys in, and they get to learn from a guy like Judon or Vaughn if Vaughn is still around. So,
absolutely.
That's where I'm at. We will address obviously other areas in other mock drafts, but hey, that's where we at.
That's right.
So, all right, Beyond. I've read my mouth enough.
It was a great mock draft tonight. I loved it. Hey, maybe next time I'll be Kansas City, so I could really downgrade their draft.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, but I don't know enough about KC. But definitely, I love that format though. That was excellent. With I think that's something we definitely can go with going forward, and we have plenty of great. I mean, the knowledge that you guys dropped in that segment, I learned quite a bit. So it was excellent.
Yeah, I like the people that I bring on here, the people that I respect. I'm not going to bring people on here that I don't respect, that I don't learn from, that don't back up, what they're talking about with actual knowledge. It's easy to get people up here and it's easy to play a character. Like I could come up here and yell and make all type of noises and stuff like that, and just try to be entertaining. I'd rather be informative.
Agree.
So that's where we are. And if you want to be entertained and you want to you want people to make you laugh and all other stuff, tune into the spaces. We do that in there.
Yeah.
But
Or go on
1 to
TikTok and
5
find some random person on there, right? If you
Right.
also want to get
Annie Agar drops videos every week, and they're pretty funny. But yeah, so like we try to be informative here. We try to be factually correct. If we're not, let us know, and then we'll come up and apologize and retract and move forward.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm good, man. I got nothing else. I
got nothing else. It's the first weekend without football in a long time. So for some of us, it's a definite adjustment. For me, I pivot to a lot of other sports. But, again, lots coming up in the off season. Lots of interesting. There's always something interesting to watch out there. So, by the way, Knicks 149-148 winners in overtime tonight. Defense optional at the Garden tonight against Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there. So
that's good, man. I'm tired of Trae Young disrespecting. I'm tired of Trae Young disrespecting New York, man.
Yep.
So that's good.
And shout out, we have our Sabres podcast on Saturday. And just a little disclaimer: if anybody's looking for something interesting to watch this week, the NHL shut down for about 2 weeks. They have the Four Nations tournament going on, Whittle.
Okay.
It's Canada, Sweden, USA, and Finland. So you got all the best players in the world are in this tournament. So you have the top 50 or 60 players. So imagine if the NBA just said, hey, we're going to have 4 countries, right? Top 50, 60 in the world all going at it. It'd be awesome. I think it'd be great theater, right? So
100%.
It's US Canada Saturday night on ABC. If you're looking for something different to watch, a little, kind of bridge that gap between the Bills going into free agency and going into the draft and all that. And, if you're looking for something different to watch, I highly recommend it. And for any of you Sabre fans out there that are Bills fans or Sabre fans, if you dare listen to us about our Sabres, feel free to listen to Matt and I every Saturday morning. So, and we've even
what time on Saturdays?
10 a.m. 10 a.m. your time, 7 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern time. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. So, and we'll have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. Another PSA. Like I'm just gonna be dropping these PSAs as they come to mind.
The PSAs.
Listen, stop, Bills fans. Stop saying it's time to move off Matt Milano. Stop saying that. Okay.
Thank you.
It's not. All right, guys. I know he's older. I think Matt's 30 now. I know that if you cut him, you make some cap savings. He still plays at a high level.
Yeah.
His instincts, you can't replace those instincts right now. You don't have a guy on the roster that can do that. So, yeah, stop saying that, folks, please. All right, I know it's gonna come into I know it's gonna pop up in some of you guys' heads. Just let it stay there. Block it out and say no. Matt Milano's still a really good player, and he's only making $10 million a year. Okay, so just stop saying let's move on.
Too. If he was making, if his cap hit was $18-19 million, okay, that's a different conversation, right? But
I just restructure him or ask him to take a pay cut so that we can sign some free agents. I don't think that there's a numerical. I don't think that there's a number. Within reason that I would say no to Matt. Like if Matt Milano's cap hit was $18 million, I would say, all right, cool. I'm going to ask him to take a pay cut. But if he doesn't, I'm just going to pay him and hope that he's healthy because he's that much of a game changer. Like he is legit. I don't understand. I don't think people remember how good Matt Milano was. Like how good Matt Milano is. Like go back to that 2023 season and look at the first 4 games. And look at what Matt Milano did in those first 4 games.
Yep.
He was going to be if he doesn't get his leg broken in against Jacksonville, he 100% is a first team All Pro. I think he had like 3 interceptions in the first 4 games, like 2 forced fumbles and like 2 fumble recoveries. the man was just stop saying stop saying it's time to move on from him.
No,
Just stop saying it.
No,
It's
we
not
want
happening.
Matt back at least
Okay?
another year. At least
It's
another
not
year.
happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's gonna retire a Buffalo Bill, and we're gonna be better off because of it. So let's just stop saying that.
Mhm.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it a night. And you got your joint, you got your show on Saturday
Yep,
at
and
10
thank you
a.m.
again.
Eastern time.
Thank you to everyone today. Great mock. It was great to have all the guests that you said. I knew everybody, so that was quite a surprise. Didn't expect that. So that was excellent. So
Yeah.
great
Once
job
the
by
Chi-
you organizing
and
that.
once the Chiefs fans get over their that beating that they got, maybe
Yeah,
we'll
we'll have
get
to bring-
one in there to one in the come in the draft. Like I know what they're gonna draft. They're gonna draft offensive line because that's what they need. And they might need to get another corner too because Jalen Watson is not L'Jarius Sneed.
Mhm.
You guys lied to us. He's not L'Jarius Sneed, guys.
No, he is
Let
not.
that go.
No, he is not. So absolutely.
All right, folks. Everybody
Always a
that was in
pleasure.
the chat, thank you guys. Thank you guys for popping in like you do every week. If you are watching right now, please go to YouTube, like and subscribe. We got to get that thing where we put it at the bottom of the screen again or just put it in the comments. Can we put it in the comments? Let me put it in the comments. What is it?
I think we have something. I may have some notes. I'll work on that for next time for sure.
All right, yeah, we'll do that.
Yep, we'll definitely get that in for next show. No question about it. But definitely like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We love it. We really appreciate it.
And this is the thing. I'm gonna put it up here. There we go. Let's show it. All right, folks. There it is. Go to YouTube and you put that into the search bar, Coast to Coast Podcast NJ. It'll pop up. You'll see Josh Allen like this, like how he was at the Miami game. Sorry, Miami fans, but yeah,
Sorry, K-Mac.
yeah. When you guys have them dumb T-shirts on, when Josh Allen trolled you guys in the end zone, that's the one. That's the picture. That's the one you. I think I may change the picture. Not right now. I'm not going to change it. But what do you think of this?
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yes, we need to get
that.
that changed immediately. Yes,
Love
yes.
that. All right, so folks, look, it's going to either be this or the Josh Allen picture where he's like this. Either way, that's the web. That's the pod.
And one last disclaimer I want to give Bills fans. When you're in spaces and you see Raven fans, anything you say, the word Josh Allen is replaced with the reigning MVP, NFL MVP. If you make sure you emphasize that over and over again when you see your fellow Raven fans out there this offseason.
They told us for weeks, it was like, man, Bills fans are really going to be pissed when they lose in the playoffs and don't get the MVP.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, by the way, one last thing, Whittle. Shout out to Slick Rick. Did you see that segment about Slick Rick?
I did.
Was that great? I mean, was that amazing? And did you hear they're talking about, because I think he doesn't have a car. I think they're trying to figure out if he needs transportation. So Bills Mafia may step up again for Slick Rick, but I think they're going to find out if he opts not to have a car. They want to find out before they do that. But I just why I love Bills Mafia, and I just think that was an amazing segment and a great shout out by Josh Allen. Just to shout out someone like that, I think just speaks volumes of just how our team is in general. So I thought that was just wanted to point that out.
That, and did you see the one where he was looking at the video message from all of the kids at the
Amazing
hospital?
Yes,
bro, that one got me, man. That one got me. That one got me.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, see, we're gonna get out of here, but we'll just let you guys know, man. Josh Allen was very happy. He's got the woman of his dreams. He's got an MVP already.
Yep.
We have 10 draft picks right now. We may get more, and you guys are in trouble. All right, NFL, you're in trouble next year. All right.
Yes.
I tell you this every year, but this time we mean it. Okay. This time we mean it.
We do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Whittle, as always.
All right. We'll sign out of here, man. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Have a good week, everyone.
Have a great week.